everybody, welcome back to my channel, Boomy Reactions. My name is Boomy. Hello my lovelies and thank you for watching. Now today we're going to be watching another miscellaneous video. I say that word an awful lot at the moment, miscellaneous. It covers a wide range of, it means random, I think, basically. So yes, we're watching another random video. I don't really know what category it falls under, so we're going to call it miscellaneous. So this one today comes as a request from the wonderful Mike. Thank you very much, Mike, for requesting this. And this is called How the Universe is Way Bigger Than You Think. Oh, it is a lot bigger than we think. Oh my gosh, I love, it always reminds me of, you know, that age that you get to in high school when you think you're super intellectual and super intelligent. You have these random conversations with everybody and, you know, you're learning as you're going through high school and there's this realization, I think it normally comes up in like a physics class where you realize, okay, that is really, really big. The universe is actually massive. The planet is massive. The galaxy, the solar system is massive. But oh my gosh, I think the universe is actually so huge to a point where it's unfathomable. I love that word, unfathomable. Like we cannot comprehend the actual scale of how gigantic, it just doesn't even cover it, does it? How massive the universe actually is. So let's watch a video and we can hopefully see it on a little bit of a scale. Now, guys, I don't pretend to be knowledgeable on physics or anything like that. So if it starts going into the realms of quantum physics or the like, I'm just going to have to, you know, explain that in the words of Boomy, and the world is told by Boomy, because I don't think I'm going to get it if it's going to go into those lands. But, you know, we'll see how we go. And as ever, guys, if you're enjoying these reactions, please like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much, my lovelies. If you're interested, I have a Buy Me a Coffee account. The link is over here. And if you're interested in supporting my channel any further, I have a Patreon account and the link is in the description below. Let's crack on.
This is Earth. You live here on this planet somewhere, and everything that you've ever known is located right here. But just how small exactly is Earth when compared to the scale of the entire universe? Let's start by zooming out to where we can see our nearest cosmic neighbor, the Moon. You may think that the Moon is very close to Earth since it dominates our night skies, but in reality the Moon isn't this close to our planet, it's actually about this far away. 384,400 kilometers away from you right now on average. You could
and then if we start to zoom out again and then we look at the solar system, it's our satellite, isn't it? It's our moon. So it is actually really, really close to the planet. But when you look at it in a zoomed in kind of scale like this, it is ridiculously far away. So it's all perspective, isn't it, on this, guys?
Fit 30 entire Earths in between this distance, and if you somehow were able to drive a car at a constant 100 kilometers per hour speed, it would take you about 160 days to drive the entire distance. Despite this incredible distance, however, 12 humans have actually set foot here, representing the furthest away that any individual human has ever been away from the Earth, and one of humanity's greatest achievements. This is what the Earth would look like from there if you were standing there with them, and if you wanted to communicate with somebody back at home, it would take a message about 2.5 seconds to travel between you and them, since that's how fast the speed of light can travel at. This is a photo that was taken on Mars, and that tiny dot that you see there is Earth as seen from the Martian surface. On average, Mars is an incredible 225 million kilometers away from Earth, but that distance can be as high as 401 million kilometers. That means that whenever humanity finally gets around to landing a human on the planet, that person will be 986 times further away from Earth than the astronauts who landed on the Moon were. In addition, the time delay for sending a message from Mars back to Earth isn't just 2.5 seconds, it's actually more like 20 minutes each direction, which would,
when they start to, like, because these distances are just, they're so hard to actually get your head around. But when you start to talk about the speed of light, that puts it into perspective. And that is when I can get a more clearer idea of the distance of this. Oh my gosh.
render instant communication in the event of an emergency impossible. When we zoom out even further away, we can find the Voyager 1 space probe, which is the furthest away man-made object from Earth. It is currently located 138 AUs from the Earth. AU meaning astronomical unit, which is the distance between the Earth and the Sun, which means that Voyager 1 is 138 times further away from us than the Sun is. At some point on its long voyage, Voyager 1 turned its camera around and took this photograph. It may not look like much at first, but in my opinion, this is the greatest single photograph ever taken in all of human history. This tiny, pale blue dot is Earth, and I don't think that anybody has ever said something as amazing about this as Carl Sagan when he said, "If you look at it, you see a dot. That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you ever heard of, every human being who ever lived out their lives. The aggregate of all our joys and sufferings, thousands of confident religions, ideologies, and economic doctrines."
The entire evolution of our entire planet rendered into a small little dot on this image. It's an amazing thought. It's, it inspires in me, it inspires so much wonder and so much intrigue. But at the same time, is it like a daunting thought? It's I can't describe it, to think that our entire existence, which, is billions of years, and we've seen entire worlds of species come and go, haven't we, over the millennia, the eras, the years, and to think that our entire existence, everything that we know, which is so vast, is reduced to just a tiny, like a little pinprick of a dot there, isn't it? It's crazy. It's wild. Like, I can't even explain the feeling of that. It's like a double-edged sword, I think. There's wonder and intrigue, like I say, but at the same time, it's almost like quite a haunting feeling, isn't it? I can't really describe it. Like the idea that your species' entire existence is so, so small. I just can't describe that feeling. Guys, I'm sure some of you out there have got a much more articulate way of explaining this feeling that I'm experiencing right now. Let me know in the comments.
Every hunter and every forager, every hero and coward, every creator and destroyer of civilizations,
this feeling.
Every king and every peasant, every young couple in love, every hopeful child,
our entire history,
every mother and every father, every inventor and explorer, every teacher of morals, every corrupt politician, every superstar, every supreme leader, every saint and sinner in the history of our species lived there, on a mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam. Voyager 1 is currently traveling at 17 kilometers every single second, but even at that speed, it won't break out of the reach of our solar system for another 30,000 years. Once we go beyond the solar system, we arrive in our interstellar neighborhood. Here we shift to the light-year unit of measurement, which is the distance that light travels in a full Earth year, or about 9.461 trillion kilometers. The star Proxima Centauri here is the closest other star to us other than our sun, but it's still 4.24 light years away from us. To put that into perspective, if it was heading in the right direction, it would still take Voyager 1 over 70,000 years to reach it. In other words, if you drove your car at 100 kilometers an hour like in our previous example to the moon, it would take over 6 times longer than the entire age of the universe is just to finally get there, and it wouldn't even exist still when you arrived. When we zoom out even further, we can see the entire Milky Way galaxy, inside of which Earth is located right here. This yellow dot is the furthest extent of humanity's radio broadcasts throughout history, which means that any possible aliens who live outside of this range are totally unaware of humanity's presence.
It's absolutely beautiful, isn't it? What I find crazy is that this is such an amazing, like, breathtaking image. Like the skies, the images that we can see from that have been taken from space are so breathtakingly beautiful. and they are so natural. I, I don't, I'm trying to word, like, it's crazy that these sites form so naturally, but they're so like heartbreakingly beautiful. They're so colorful, and the shapes, they're breathtaking. They are absolutely amazing.
It's complete silence outside of this yellow dot as far as we are currently aware, but the entire galaxy spans over 100,000 light years from end to end. There are over 100 billion stars and over 100 billion planets inside of our galaxy.
Wow.
But you have never seen the full glory of the galaxy at night, because 99% of the stars that you can see with the naked eye are limited to this small, tiny region right here. But even this massive galaxy is nothing compared to the rest of what's out there. Zooming out even further and we arrive at the local group of galaxies, a collection of 54 different galaxies that is about 10 million light years across.
Oh my
But zooming
gosh!
out even further and we can see the Virgo supercluster, of which the local group here is just a tiny segment of. There are at least 100 other groups of galaxies just like our own local group inside of here, and the distance from one side to the other is a mind-numbing 110 million light years. But even the massive Virgo supercluster is nothing but a quiet and tiny lobe of the Great Laniakea supercluster, an enormous structure that is home to our galaxy as well as 100,000 other galaxies. The distance from one side to the other is 520 million light years, but from even there we can zoom out all the way to the entire observable universe and see that even the titanic Laniakea supercluster is just a tiny and insignificant part of everything. This is the observable universe, and it contains everything that we know of. It is home to at least 2 trillion different and individual galaxies, which together contain more stars than there are grains of sand on the entire Earth. The distance from Earth to any side of the observable universe is 46.5 billion light years.
When they say side, that makes me think of, like a three-dimensional shape. How do they know that there's sides and it's not like a continuation? Do you know what I mean? I can't. It's so difficult to even visualize this. I know I've got a diagram here, but how do they know? How have they seen the images of these far regions of this universe? It's not even a galaxy, it's a universe. How have they seen it? Like, because surely, like the telescopes that that we see images of, they can't see this far, can they? How have they got this image? Like the narrator said, they seem fairly confident that this is, what the universe looks like on a very, very grand, zoomed out scale. What makes them so sure that it's right? Are we talking about quantum physics now? We're talking about theoretic-based physics that I just will not understand.
Which means that the entire width is 93 billion light years across. What's perhaps even more interesting, however, is what actually lies beyond the observable universe. Keep in mind that the observable universe is all that we can currently see, and it's entirely possible that the rest of the universe outside of it is vastly larger and more fantastic than we can possibly ever imagine. We simply don't know what else is out there because the light from these incredibly distant places has not yet had enough time in the universe's history to reach us yet back on Earth. And the light from some places may never reach us at all. Because some parts of space very far away from Earth are expanding away from us faster than the speed of light, that means that the light from these places will never, in an infinite amount of time, reach Earth. Meaning that even if humanity is eternal and exists forever, there will still be an unknown number of places in the universe that we will never know about or ever see. So, it is very likely that as unbelievably enormous as it seems, the observable universe is just a tiny slice of what we can currently see of the entire universe. According to the theory of cosmic inflation that was proposed by Dr. Alan Guth, if it is assumed that cosmic inflation began at 10 to the negative 37th of a second after the Big Bang, and with the assumption that the size of the universe before inflation began was equal to its age times the speed of light, then this would seem to suggest that at the present day, the entire universe is 150 sextillion times larger than the observable universe. That number for reference looks like this, with this many zeros. Let this number sink in for just a moment. This would be similar to you thinking that the entire observable universe, everything that you could see, was the size of a light bulb, but then realizing that in reality the entire universe is larger than the former planet of Pluto. Imagine a light bulb in the center of Pluto, but we inside the light bulb were totally unaware that Pluto existed outside of it, and that's a similar situation to this. We are all so unbelievably small, but you shouldn't worry, because all that means is that there is so much left out there for us to discover together.
But I think that the complication here is that we'll never discover it because of how vast the universe actually is. Oh my gosh! So the that little image at the end there, that summed that up perfectly. So if we imagine everything that we can see within the universe, like I was even saying then, how do they know from one side of the, you know, the viewable, foreseeable universe? How do they know where it ends and it begins? How do they know this? And is it accurate? Are they going to say in like kind of 20 years' time, oh, well, we thought the universe was actually this shape and we thought it looked like this, but actually it's not, it's this, which always happens, doesn't it? It's always evolving. We're always learning. And I think that's amazing. But that's too big. No, the universe is too big. I can't describe the feeling. Is it agoraphobia, the fear of open spaces? I don't think that's the right term here. But it's making me feel a little bit phobic of the sheer size and volume. I think it's quite a human nature to not like the unknown, to like have a desire to need to know. We need to know what's out there. I don't like not knowing. I don't like thinking the universe is that big and we just don't know what's on the other side of our universe. You know, just a little bit of information. It's all I'm asking, just to give us an idea of, you know, like, what does it look like? What color is it? Just so I can visualize it. I'm really struggling with the idea of not being able to visualize what's outside it. I think that's what I'm struggling with. I like to have a little picture in my head. And I just haven't got one, because we will, like the narrator said, we might never know what's out there. And it's an unsettling thought. I don't like it. I need to know. Oh my gosh, guys, were you blown away by these images, these comparisons? Let me know. So many of you out there probably know an awful lot more than I do about theories, what they think it looks like, or why, or how they've got there. It's an interesting question, actually. How do they know the dimensions of our seeable or viewable universe? What devices is it? It's got to be some kind of telescope, hasn't it? How do they know? Like I say, I don't pretend to be knowledgeable about physics, the realms of physics here, but I'll try and understand. But I'm sure many of you have a much better idea. So let me know in the comments. It's very, very interesting, mind-blowing, absolutely mind-blowing. And I love the idea that there's got to be other life out there as well, even in our own, well, that universe, that small little section there. I am a firm believer that there has to be life. Statistically, there has to be other forms of life. It might just not be similar to us, or look like us, or breathe like us, or think like us, or anything like that. But I do think statistically there has to be life. It's impossible for there not to be life, I think. World as told by Boomy. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed watching that along with me. Take care of yourselves for now. Much love. And I will see you later. Bye-bye.